All right, we're moving along pretty quick, but I believe our next coach is on the call, Coach Kevin Callahan from Monmouth.
Hey, Mark. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Hawks had the setback at Fordham. Kind of a nice little back-and-forth game after some early deficits. Just talk about that. We'll open up with the game against the Rams, and then we'll start taking questions and talk about this week's opponent.
Well, it was a day that, first of all, Fordham's a good football team. And, we didn't get off to a great start, had a bad second quarter, and quite honestly probably made some things a lot easier for them than we should have or than we needed to. And, when you do that against a good football team, it's going to make for a long afternoon. We had 5 turnovers on the day, which is an issue that I thought we had corrected after week 1. But, we were just sloppy with our ball security and made some poor decisions. And, as everyone knows, when you turn it over 5 times, it makes it very difficult to win. And, we gave up some big plays to their offense. Found ourselves in a big hole. To credit our kids, they kept battling. It looked like we were getting ourselves back in it there in the third quarter. But then a couple more turnovers really put the game in their favor.
All right, we'll start taking questions for Monmouth head coach Kevin Callahan. Please press star 1 on your phone at any time to ask a question, or click the Q&A link near the top of your browser. Click raise hand if you joined us via the web. And while we wait for a question or two, Coach, if you can talk about Saturday's opponent back home.
Yeah, we're back home for the first time in 3 weeks to play a very good Bryant University team. We haven't played them in a couple of years. Used to play them regularly back in our old conference. But they're a team that likes to run the ball. They run the ball very well. They're not real fancy about what they do on offense. They're pretty straightforward. And, you've got to make sure that you're sound in your gap discipline, and you've got to make sure that you're coming and you're playing physical. And on the defensive side, I'm just watching them on video. They play extremely hard. They don't give up a lot of points, and they make it very difficult for offenses. So, we've got certainly some things of our own that we need to get straightened out and get fixed, and then, we've got to make sure that we're ready for the challenge that Bryant is going to present on Saturday.
All right, Coach, we'll now turn to questions for you, and our first question is from Eddie Yakapini of the Monmouth Digital Network.
Mark, appreciate it. Coach, good morning. How are you today?
Good, Eddie.
Hey, Coach, obviously, as Mark just said, but coming home, and this is the first game this season that you'll play at home with everyone back on campus. We obviously played Holy Cross before the school year, and just talk about what it's going to be like getting everyone back on campus. Obviously this 3-game road swing is taking you kind of all over the place, and just coming back home with students around, and obviously there's a buzz on campus. Should be a pretty good atmosphere going into this game, which is obviously a big test for you going into your last non-league game going into league play.
Well, yeah, that's correct, Eddie, and I know that our guys, the guys on the team, are excited certainly about playing home. As you said, our first home game was before the student body came back to school. So I think we're anticipating a great crowd here. I know our marketing department is really doing a great job getting people out for the game. And, we're looking forward to just being at home. After 3 weeks on the road, it kind of feels good to play a home game.
And, Coach, some of the young guys that have been getting some major time, I think have really shown, the ability that you thought they had, and specifically some of the really young skill guys. If you wanted to address what they've been able to do, on the outside, specifically at the wide receiver position, and then also some of the young specialists, too, really, I think, played well. Matt White went in the League Player of the Week on the special team side of things.
Well, I guess I'm kind of torn on that one, Ed. Certainly I'm very happy with the production that some of these young guys are giving us and how they're performing on the field. On the other hand, I don't feel so great about having to play so many young guys. But they are getting valuable experience, and they're showing the ability to make plays on the field, which is, what we thought they could do when they recruited them. At the receiver position, we have 2 freshmen who are contributing out there, and Reggie White Jr., Ugo Azema, actually a third, and Devin Phelps, 1 redshirt freshman, and 2 true freshmen who are seeing an awful lot of time. In the secondary, you've got true freshman Deontay Fair, true freshman Tymir Berry, who are playing an awful lot of plays over the last couple weeks. And as you mentioned, Matt White, as a sophomore, is doing a really good job handling our kicking and punting duties. And as you mentioned, was recognized by the conference as the Special Teams Player of the Week. So there are a lot of young guys contributing. I just wish we had some older guys to go along with them at times.
Well, Coach, I appreciate it. Obviously, looking forward to doing the ESPN3 broadcast, and wish you the best of luck. And, Coach, thank you. Mark, thank you very much. Good luck to the league this week.
Thanks, Eddie.
And Coach, I'll wrap up with one final question for you. You mentioned some of the older guys. Who's missing from an injury standpoint that we haven't seen yet, or is expected to come back in the next week or two?
Well, Darnell Leslie, our defensive end, who was a second-team all-conference guy a year ago, is out for the season. Fractured his foot during training camp, and haven't had him yet. And then, the guy who backed him up, Jack Eisenstadt, got hurt in the first game against Holy Cross, and he's hurt. He's out for the season as well. So, we're certainly missing those two guys, and a couple other guys in the defensive line who, have only played limitedly just because of the injuries that they've sustained. But, at this point in the season, every team has injuries to deal with. Every team has to juggle their lineups a little bit. So we just got to do a better job with the guys that we have out there.
All right, Coach, I'm not seeing any more questions for you, so we'll go ahead and let you go. But thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week. Good luck Saturday.
Thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate it.
All right.